It's lagging. How's the camera? Is video buffering? Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, are we having buffering issues, ladies and gentlemen? We might have. 140p. Going live, you're live. Okay, YouTube's live. 3 more minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 more minutes. Alright, that is ticking. And that is ticking. Okay, it's looking good. I'm not sure. Stream bitrate is lower than usual. Oh no! Is it low because I'm watching this in 1080p? Bro, what's my speed, bro? Speed. Let's test the speed. Maybe I have to switch. I mean, 50, almost 50 download speed, 42, roughly. What's the upload speed? 30, 28, it's tanking, 30. Brother. It's tanking. What if we do that? We are dropping frames like crazy, my guy. This is no bueno. This is no bueno. How do we do this? How do we do this? Goddamn freaking hotel internet, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. We might have. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is it because of this? What if we turn this off? What happens then? Does the stream get fixed when we turn this off? Or are we just dropping frames? No, it's just very bad this time. Is it because of the live previews I have everywhere? Or what's going on? What have I changed? I don't think I've changed anything. My settings are the same. So I'm not sure why everything is just way worse today. Yeah, I'm not sure at all. At all, I'm not sure, man. Oh, that's weird. Stream output. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We got a new follower. Callie, what's up? Hold on. We have some technical difficulties, man. All right. We're having some high bit. Okay, we're gonna try one thing. We're gonna wait. Maybe it's because of this. No. Okay. We're gonna try something. Hold on. Be right back. Okay, I might. Okay, are we still live? How's it looking? Oh crap, it's on! Ooh, sounds a little bit funky. Okay, stream is looking better, guys. I think we fixed it. Good job, me. Good job, me. We're live. Boom. It's looking great. Sounds a little bit wonky. I don't know why. Let's refresh the page and see what happens. Okay, now it sounds way better. Yeah. Where's my camera? Webcam, come back. Okay, it's back. Hey, we're live. Okay, let's see what's happening.
I will find you, Eve.
Eve. Who's Eve?
Now, as you can see, the druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast.
Ooh.
Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them.
Okay.
The druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks.
Nice.
As a human, the druid typically uses
Like the
magical
cleric.
staves to
Or
harness the
whatever.
powers of the earth and the natural world. One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth.
Badass.
This skill spits out
Finally.
balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range.
They showed this at
Many
the
of the skills you
preview like
use as
2
a
years
human last
ago.
for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance
When you like
to turn
stamp
into an
with the
animal
bear
and
form and
rage
then
out.
more volcano erupts. See that? Wow.
But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use, animal talismans.
Talismans.
When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to
So
represent.
it's not only druids.
Depending on
Any
what
of the
you
class
choose,
can use the
you'll be
talisman
given
and
that animal's
transform. Guys,
basic
just so you
attack
know.
as a new skill to equip. For a bear,
Just so you know, you can
that's
play
maul.
the warrior
To
or the
turn
monk
into a
and
bear,
turn into a
simply use the
werewolf.
skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack.
Because it's passive exile.
If
know.
you want to change back to
everyone
a
can use all
human,
skills.
just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it.
Nice.
We wanted to make
Great.
sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the
It
time
looks
in battle.
seamless. It looks good.
In order
Yeah.
to allow for hybrid melee and caster
Yeah, it's good.
gameplay, most of the skills you
Ah!
use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam. While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your furious slam.
Ooh.
Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes.
That's when the rage depletes. Okay.
The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts. And doing it over a volcano makes it even better.
I think I'm blocking it a little bit, guys. If you can see here, above the life bar, I mean the mana bar here, you can see the rage.
As you
That's the
consume
bar.
rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and
maybe
these
put
can be
myself
used
over
with
here.
skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
What? Okay.
Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
That's such a nice skill.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Khal. Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer. Finally, build up enough rage
Sick.
and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power
That's
your
a
other
sorcerer's
abilities.
skill. What is it? What?
True Bear Apocalypse.
What
Now,
the?
the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form.
Ooh, here we go.
For the
Werewolf
wolf
time.
form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward
Fast
and
and
raid his
furious.
foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on 2 legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies.
Okay, so actually better than the speed.
The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place.
Okay.
After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy
Do they
will
have
summon a
something to
wolfman into
explode
your
the
side,
ice, like
allowing
the
them to fight
mercenary
with you.
does? You know, when you shoot the ice
Mark
shot
and
and
kill
then
as
the other
many
shot
enemies
that
as you can
explodes
to
the
build a
ice
sizable pack.
for a combo.
While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage
Whoa,
the
pet
more wolves
wolves.
you have. So make sure you keep your pack strong.
Okay, sick.
Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash.
Okay.
Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before?
Yeah.
Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target.
Okay.
First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your
Yeah,
enemies.
there we go. Cross slash, that's the skill to explode the ice, I
If they're
guess.
still alive after that, your
Nice.
pack of wolves can finish them off.
Come on, dogs.
Just
Finish
like with
it.
the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that
Ooh,
you can
there's a
socket mark
lot of
skills from
skills
other
here,
classes
look.
into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain
Oh.
extra cold damage for a time.
Okay.
The Wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any
you can
slam,
buff your
while
wolfies.
buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform
Oh.
into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing.
Oh,
In this
even
form,
the-
you move and attack more quickly and deal
Yeah, he got
extra cold
transformed
damage.
into the wolf.
Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what plenty of people would try to do. They would try to play everything, right? Bear form, wolf form.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the druid, and I think it's a cool one. The Wyvern. The
What?
Wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities,
What?
but that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to.
I can become a dragon!
The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend.
No way!
Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your
What?
lethal talons.
What?
If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off
raptor?
balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage.
Yo,
After the
Oh, that's
battle,
sick.
though, it's time to feed.
Nah.
Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges. And this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online.
I did not anticipate Wyvern.
When using Rend, you can consume a power charge
Holy
to
crap.
charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack.
What? And
Once
it
your
chooses
wings
the
are
two,
charged,
yeah.
your wing blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage.
Dude. That's sick.
If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just
Yeah,
devour them alive.
finish them.
Fresh meat is much
Oh, you
tastier
can eat
after
them
all.
up! What? You actually eat them?
Alright, so those are some melee options. But how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all.
Okay.
Rolling magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well.
These balls.
So it's a good idea to cast
Spit
one as a
balls.
human right before you start spitting.
Eat balls, spit balls. I mean,
But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite.
oh, nice.
If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range.
Oh,
You're
that's a
vulnerable to
mix.
melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling
Yeah,
vines
here
to
we go.
slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet.
What's that?
Why
is
is
that
that
rain?
useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your wyvern form to enhance your damage.
They can,
Making things
is that a
wet
new
also makes them
stasis
easier to
element?
freeze, so it
Status
works nicely
element?
with your
Wet?
wolf form as well.
We haven't had that before, have
And you
we?
know what else likes water?
That's new.
Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with
Water
Entangle to make
your
them last
plants?
longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further.
What?
Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in
combos.
water will be larger and deal more damage.
Wow. Okay.
Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage.
Lightning infused barrage.
Now, this last wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it.
Okay.
Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies.
You can fly.
You have wings, so you have to take full
Yo.
advantage of them after all. So fly around
Yes.
and burn in it.
Dude, that looks insane. Yo. That looks insane.
Now, there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time.
What?
In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the
Whoa.
options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage,
Oh, that's
and your
witch
wyvern
is
form
one.
can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed. But they're also available from quite a few
Ooh,
other
FPS.
places as well.
Ugh.
I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game.
Oh my god.
But I'll
more
show you a few of the
even
cool
more
ones here.
support gems.
Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. But you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles.
Okay.
Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move
Bro.
across the battlefield.
My build is
It's
gonna be
great
like
for watering plants
I'm
en
gonna be
masse.
nature guy. I'm gonna spread flowers
Or
to
to
the
turn
whole
tornadoes
field.
into a real disaster
Rain
by
everywhere.
sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along.
Wait. Is that his
And the
tornado?
Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well.
Oh wow.
Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost.
Yeah.
Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to
Tesla
nearby
coils.
enemies. You could
Okay.
use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear.
Yeah.
There's a whole
Obviously.
pile more.
Obviously.
We'll leave those for you to discover.
Obviously, guys.
Now, with a new class comes new Ascendancy classes. The Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third being
Okay,
released
only
later.
2. Bummer, but
The
it's fine.
first class is the Shaman. The
Totems?
Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies. By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells.
Okay.
With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman.
What?
These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for
Bonded.
enhancing your build.
No
You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid Ascendancy is the Oracle.
Whoa, this looks
The
sick.
Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage.
But there's no beast form focused.
When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
Okay, but if I don't?
And with converging paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
Oh, that looks super
And one of my
confusing, though.
favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree.
Oh my
By
god,
allocating
even
the
more
unseen
difficulty.
path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and
Walked
gain
path
skills that
not
would otherwise
taken.
be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid Ascendancies offer interesting and
What?
unique ways to gain modifiers
Hardcore?
that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these.
Sheep death?
Now there are
Yo.
unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your bear form into a fire demon, converting
Yo!
most of your damage to fire.
Yo,
As
nah.
a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fishes
That's a
around
POE
you.
mob.
This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to
Diablo,
use
it's
your
Diablo
ultimate abilities
5.
more easily.
It's Diablo.
Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story
Here
to
we
tell.
go, here we go.
And this time,
The blood
is
of
no
the Val or
exception.
something.
So
The
let's
Val.
roll the trailer for the fate of the Val.
The fate of the Val. Here we go. Oh
The
my god.
palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
We're going into the bad dungeons.
The temple has many functions.
Nice. Oh, was that a chaos head? Wait, what is that?
Chance to save the Val.
What? Pyramid?
A gateway through time.
Labyrinth? What is this?
Travel into the past. Again. And again.
Oh, it's back! Yes, the pyramid thingy from POE2.
Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets.
What a different. Now it's a board game. They made a board game in the game.
For your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits.
I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do.
Whoa!
It adores.
Whoa!
Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
Yo! Yo! What? Bro, I lost.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, game director on Path of Exile.
Bro, too soon. Hi.
In the Fate of the Val
I'm
raid,
Mark Roberts.
you will find remnants of the ancient Val civilization scattered throughout
Holy.
Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but
Okay.
not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Val may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Val. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's
Okay.
personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice, and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place. allowing you to
Oh,
craft
you
your
get
own
tile
dungeon to
sets.
explore.
That's so cool.
Place
That's
paths to
it's
link up the
basically a
dungeon,
game board.
and place rooms beside them full of precious loot.
Oh, nice.
After you are happy with your choices,
You can run the
open the
temple.
temple and discover the results of your efforts.
Okay. Okay.
Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns.
Why?
For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path.
Okay.
But a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
Oh. He buffed
With
the other
better
dudes.
leadership, the garrison will level up, making the
Okay.
monsters harder, but also more rewarding.
Ah,
Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up.
that's nice.
For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered up, making them much more dangerous.
Wow.
You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up,
Yeah, nice.
and exactly what effect it will have on the temple.
So good. Yeah, nice. Make it easy for me.
After
I'm done.
running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back,
Wait, so okay.
making the temple larger and larger and larger.
Wait, is there a time limit?
So, that's the basic functionality of the temple. But there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your
6
travels to
rooms, more 6
Laraval,
rooms.
he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission.
Chat's going crazy.
The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point.
Alright.
Right before Edzeri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Val. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Edzeri to prevent the Val from ever being destroyed. Edzeri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him,
course, the
you will need to
architect.
place path rooms. But while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Val technology only available in the past. Once
Okay.
you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing
All
it next to a
attributes.
thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had.
Okay. It seems like a
In
slow
a level
mechanic.
3
We're not gonna
corruption
zoom
chamber,
through this.
you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them?
Wait.
Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further.
Right.
But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding
What?
another enchantment.
Wait.
This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed. But be
Yo.
warned,
Yeah.
the Val are all about taking risks in the
You
pursuit
can
of power.
brick it, brother.
There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
50. Yo, that's a real gamba. Freaking gamba.
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight,
Oh, it's the boss from
special
my
drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Wait, what is that?
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Val construct to fight, but if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalizzi's thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Quetzalcoatl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires.
Oh.
Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Val unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways. One of the mods of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod.
Okay. That animation
For
is
example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die.
sick. Okay.
By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, one extra thing to mention about these Val
Gamba.
crafting
Gamba
machines.
season. Let's
You
go.
don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
Oh. Okay.
Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon.
Flesh
A
surgeon.
Val Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab.
Ew.
But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab.
Yeah, no shit.
Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Val are
Let's
great at
hop
crafting
in.
items. Why not do some crafting on yourself? After laying down, you'll be asked which limb
What?
you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps
Wait.
your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table,
Yo,
try out your
Cyborg
new limb.
Exile.
It seems to
No
work fine,
way,
and even
Cyberpunk.
perform better than your normal one.
It's literally Cyberpunk.
Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts.
Less
If you
health?
die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state.
Oh.
You might need to return to the Val Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time.
Oh.
Some
Damn.
rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways.
Get wrecked softcore,
Using
yeah.
Quetzalcoatl's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts. Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect,
The
and you will be in
Architect.
for a fight.
Okay.
Once
Stutter? No, come back.
defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socketables back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it. Now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the endgame. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Val works well for late game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match.
Here we go.
Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So
Okay.
in endgame, when you can get some really big temples,
Yeah.
you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters.
Where's the... There
We
should be a
also
list
start
with
to
all the
introduce
buffs.
ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Val, you will get to face Adziri
looks so grim.
while she was at the peak of her power.
That looks so good.
One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself.
Oh.
This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Atziri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form.
4 of them!
Now,
There's
we're
4
not
of
going
them!
to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one
The
of
chat's
the
going
rewards.
crazy. Booba!
This is Atziri's rule.
Oh.
This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage.
Okay.
But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other. So, that's the fate of the Vaal League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game,
Okay,
along with a few
nice.
changes.
Nice.
Now, for
Yeah.
those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame.
Nice.
If you want to specialize in running abysses,
It was a good league.
there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run.
Nice.
You
Right,
can
wait,
also
endgame.
craft the tablet to add
There's gonna be
abyss-specific mods
so much
to
endgame
enhance how they function.
fixes here now. I forgot about that. Holy crap.
Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree.
Oh, yeah.
You can gain your first points by completing an Abyss,
Nice.
but there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options.
Bro, I love this.
You
love
might
this.
just want more monsters and bosses,
Yeah.
but you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or
Overrun?
make your
What does that
Waystone
mean?
modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths.
Okay.
You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well.
Okay.
This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content, but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency. Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to Waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement.
Yeah.
But on that note,
Make it easier.
Fate of the Vaal does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get
Good
one of
update.
many different random outcomes.
Okay.
Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying. Delirium
Yeah.
Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey.
That's smart.
Another big
'Cause the
source
game is
of
quite
problems in the
beautiful.
endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15.
Okay.
Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life, in addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level.
What?
This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses. We have
Better
also
mobs.
reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this. Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we just
No!
didn't get time to finish it.
No!
The scope was a bit too large.
No, what are
so
you
we'll need to
saying?
wait until 050
No,
for that.
L
But rest
Paddle
assured,
Exile.
there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and
Nah,
a significant
man.
overhaul to the Atlas passive tree
No,
coming soon.
but I wanted
Now,
the
another
end
problem
game.
that becomes a much bigger issue in the end game is game performance.
Yes.
And we have done a lot of work.
Okay.
The primary
Okay, we're
issue
back,
is
we're
CPU
back, baby.
load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized.
We're
And
back,
we have
baby.
done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores.
Hell yeah.
You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher.
Ooh.
And a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay. It does make
25%?
quite a big difference,
That's a big
especially
gap.
on consoles. A lot more work in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months. Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some
Game
of the
balancing
numbers.
is only important if you play for leaderboards.
As well as adding 11 new
Which is like
unique
such a
items,
small percentage
we
of
have
people.
rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often. We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9 more. Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others, with some of them getting a grander rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills across all the different classes. And
90.
to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
Oh,
These changes
not
should go a long way
again.
to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and overall build variety that can tackle our most
Yeah,
challenging
more
content.
build variety, more headaches.
Next up,
Jesus.
we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs.
All right, let's see.
Today,
Take my money, GG.
we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Precursor and Kalgurin packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Precursor series of supporter packs
Oh, wow.
contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. First up, the Marble Statue character effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you,
Nice.
turning your skin to marble.
Wow.
When you next move, the stone crumbles around you. The Precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
Looks messy. I don't know.
Draw
Balls.
in enemies with your own gravitational pull with
That
the
looks cool.
Awakened Precursor armor set.
Yeah, that looks cool.
The Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings.
What
This
is
one
that?
used to serve as a scout
Sonic?
that would patrol and tase intruders. Why salvage gear yourself when the Master of the Forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items.
Forge Master. Sick.
The Relic of the Precursor's map device is a mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues.
That's a sick illusion.
It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Kalgurin pack series also contains 6 exclusive
they didn't.
microtransactions.
No, they didn't. Why did they do 6, 7? Oh my god.
The
GG.
Kalgurins had astounding skill in astronomy,
No.
being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the astronomer's level up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat.
Yay.
The time taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of. Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalgurin fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Kalgurin seafarer needs
wow.
armor fit for the
Big.
treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a Peggy.
Boldly.
The Lost Treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas.
Big leg.
These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, 2-hand maces, and shields.
Oh, look at the shield though.
After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout,
Oh, that's sick.
a home of
Yeah.
some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in raid class.
That looks really cool.
Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant kraken, waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout. Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs.
Oh.
Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1. Thank you very much for all your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D.
Free weekend.
Afterwards, at 11 AM NZ time, we'll post the patch notes.
Ooh.
With release at the end of next week,
2
our
hours patch
community
notes.
team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.
I'm not gonna go through the patch
Keep an eye
notes.
on the news.
It's too much to read.
Thanks for joining us today and
I'm
checking
just
out our
watching the
latest
cool live
developments.
events.
We're looking forward to playing alongside our fellow shapeshifting exiles.
Oh,
Or
yeah. Oh,
while
yeah.
uncovering lost
I
file
think
secrets
99.
by doing some dungeon
okay, not
crafting.
99, but 95%.
We'll begin
is
the
gonna
Q&A
be
shortly,
all druids.
so please
'Cause-
get your questions ready.
A new class is such a big deal. It is actually such a big deal. Okay, Ziggy. Let's go, Ziggy. Q&A.
Welcome back, Exiles, to the Q&A portion. I am your host, Ziggy D, and today we're going to be touching on the design of the Druid and the fate of the Vile League while we gather some community questions. Then we'll deep dive into endgame, balance, and other game design topics. I am, of course, joined by game directors Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts. How you guys going today?
Oh, very good. I mean, you know, it's been a great one to work on this one. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's definitely great to see you again. And it feels like it's only been like
Well, Zig is so professional.
You were here with the POE1 release.
This
sounds
feels
great.
like only several weeks, and that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
We get to see you twice as often now, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm around every
End
2
game
months
where?
or
Yeah,
so
true.
now, I feel.
Where's the
So
end
it's
game,
great. I
guys?
love it. Let's keep going.
What was so difficult
I
to
do
fix
have
the
to
end game
open
for?
with this though. Is like,
Bro, like, the
Druid
end
looked a
game
little
was
bit
the
weak,
most thing
I think,
I-
in the demonstration video.
I looked
Yeah, I
forward
think
for
one
the
of the
endgame
issues that
so
we have
much,
is like we're so
because the
concentrating
endgame
on like
is
just
not
demonstrating how the
exciting.
mechanics work that we sort of forget to be like, okay, let's actually make sure the damage numbers that we're doing on this like test character we're filming here are actually like in line with what people actually normally expect. So yeah, there's just a few things there that we probably should have caught and made a little stronger there. But yeah, when you actually play it, it's certainly from the alpha feedback incredibly powerful. Like
Yes.
you know, the like, you know, we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on alpha there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So you know, it just comes down to the things you go through in order to
Okay.
demonstrate stuff.
Wolf
think
will be
we
confirmed.
probably going to be worthwhile. We make some videos showing a bit more of the
Yeah.
less demonstratey side and get them posted and stuff this week. Because honestly, you can just play it literally right now, and it's you know. a
Yeah, I've
different
definitely been
ballpark,
playing and recording a bit myself because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking, it's like I don't really get a feel for what it feels like to actually play it. Like, there's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how, from your perspective, it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, I want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus. And then, yeah, in this case, I'd say we went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak. But
Yeah, I think we'll try and get some like raw Druid gameplay out to people to understand.
sure.
I think particularly for this class, because of the shape-shifting stuff, it's so hard for us to, normally we can look at something and be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different.
Talking
that
about
it's actually hard to
endgame,
judge
where is the endgame
what it would
changes?
feel like to even play it. And I'm happy from my hands on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth, the shape shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like in your demonstrations you're not really using dodge, roll, sprint, that sort of thing as well, which makes a big difference.
I suppose one of the things we didn't really dwell on in the video as well is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but yeah, all the animals can like hop around and that kind of stuff. And that was honestly one of those things that was like kind of funny because initially we actually had it so when you dodge rolled, you would transform back into a human. And the reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly. Like we actually thought it was impossible. But then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear, like, you know, while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible?
Dodge
how can we
rolling
make it so
bear.
that you can actually
Oh,
do
yes,
the
I can
dodge
dodge
rolling with an
roll
animal? And
bear.
that sort of ended up being pretty good, I would say.
And this was like clearly the classes, like the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous expansion.
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where like obviously we want to have synergy between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play like dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear, and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need. But at the same time, you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. We're like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you know, you're a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools, and yet you also need to have them feel different. And that just made it really, really tricky to get all the things right with it. And then it didn't also help that, you know, since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD. And that is a whole other complication because, you know, like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. You know, like I'll tell you the wyvern, for example, like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, you know, like being able to walk while also spinning it. Yeah, it's like we went through so many iterations of that. So yeah, it was just a very tricky class overall, like just crazy.
I remember seeing some very goofy looking like wyvern like months and months ago.
weird
You were like, this is not working right.
Right. Well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly.
Like, is it really worth playing the league now? Because what I was looking forward the most with this league was all of the end game changes that I promised they would deliver. But then they freaking decided to spend time on the Druid and neglect the end game. I don't understand why they took that decision. It was a bad one. I think a lot of people is going to skip this league because of it.
On 4 legs, like as a wolf, just so after like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs.
Because no changes to the end game. I mean, there are some changes. They said so. There will be some quality of life changes, but quality of life changes is not enough to get people back into the game. They need something more substantial than quality of life.
For example, because you're just a bit bigger,
they need
a bit of a tank. Yeah, you actually do get armor, and
I don't know, man.
Applies to elemental damage as a thing.
It's just not what I was expecting.
Which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that because I was just looking at it in game before. The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it does. From rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like it was really tricky to think like, what are resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy? So yeah, that's kind of like one of the reasons why we had to kind of come up with all that stuff. And that, part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's mentioned, but I never really fully understood the idea that you can swap between the forms, like human to animal and back. Yeah, I figured that's what's going on here. But you can like leap in as a wolf and then immediately transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely can. So the thing with this is that you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I want to be a bear, and they just pick bear stuff and they go all bear, right? But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff, you can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you pick on a talisman from like wolf, bear or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's what you're actually picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you like what skills you're picking and so on, but you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like. That just means that you've got that sort of free flowing, like, you know, trying out different stuff, sort of combo gameplay that we like to try and get. So obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one thing, right? Like I absolutely expect that. But there's a lot of experimentation to do there if you want to do it.
Yeah, so you've tried to hit like making it so like people who just want
Nobody
like a
likes
super straightforward,
combo.
like I'm just gonna run out as bear and
Give me
slam the
one button
ground. Like
slam.
that's certainly
Yeah.
very possible there.
One
But also
button slam, bro.
with this whole class, you had the problem of how do we make like a spellcaster and a melee attacker that's shapeshifter as well. I mean, this class has got a bit of everything.
Yeah, that's
How did you make all that
interesting.
kind of like work together and solve that build
That's
problem of like,
difficult.
how do you actually scale these things together in a way that just one thing isn't way better than everything else?
Right. Well, I mean, it's always tricky, and Mark's obviously the one who handles a lot of the balance stuff. But I can see, even just from a design perspective, so I just
Bro,
throw
what's
over the
up with
fence all my
what's up
horrible
with
stuff, and
Mark's
then be like, how the hell am I going to balance this?
He has something on his forehead, bro. What's up with that?
But effectively, like, so even with the spellcaster side, so one of the things we initially
Got
wanted
that
with the
Indian
spellcasting
dot,
is a lot of it's like
sniper
over
dot.
time type effects that, so for example, with the volcano being the really obvious one, right? Like you can create this thing, and then you can turn into an animal and do other stuff at the same time. So we needed on the human side a lot of things that last for a long time. But the problem you then run into when you actually go to balance the thing is like, okay, well, if you've just got like 5 damage over time style spells, why not just cast all of them and then you don't have to ever do anything else, right? Like, so it's like that kind of stuff makes it really hard. So then you have to start thinking, okay, we want to make it so that you cast a long-term thing as a human, but then being an animal is going to augment that so that it improves it. So for example, with the tornado, it's got a similar mechanic to the little twisters that the hunters have, where ground effects can empower it with extra elemental stuff. And so then we're like, okay, well, if the animal forms are the ones that can create the ground effects, then that means that you're kind of like, you're going to want to do, like, to mix that with the tornado, you now have to have both the animal forms and the spellcaster stuff if you want to get all of that together.
you've got a form
so it's just a lot of
switch,
that
is
thinking
what
about how can
we're
an animal
trying to
form aid a
promote.
spell, how can a spell aid an animal form, like all the way through. And then, as I said, we throw it over the fence, and then Mark tries to work
Too
out
much
what kind of
E
numbers
happening.
can
I
actually
mean,
make it.
it's a
fully
web,
work.
a
The
web
chat
of
is furious.
infinite difficulty, right? Because like we're talking about the 4 forms within the class, but each of these skills also synergizes with every other class and every other skill in the game, and it's becoming growingly more complicated.
Yeah.
But that's also what's fun about the game and what all the things you can unlock and the crazy builds you can do. But yeah, I mean, like this week's focus has been like, okay, we had all the like during our alpha testing and internal testing, we had like there was the I want to be all forms going between. There was the I just want to be wolf, I just want to be bear, I just want to be a dragon. And now we're getting a lot more of I just want to cast nature plant skills and do plant stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, because they're quite long duration, so we're having a bunch of complexity with that as well. And it honestly just
Where's my
does
phone?
just spiral into like, oh my god, there's 20 million variables here. But it's fun. And at the end of the day, as long as it is honestly fun to play, then honestly we're golden. So, I would say we're pretty much there on almost everything with this class. I'd actually say we're a little bit more prepared than normal. We've had a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Despite, I mean, partly because it's been in the works for so long. But yeah, it's, I don't know, like ultimately pretty fun. I'd say there's still something, obviously there's still more to do. There's obviously always more to do. But yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of enjoyment. I saw yesterday, I was just like walking past someone's computer and, someone was mentioning like, yeah, it's just fun placing 6 volcanoes and then just slamming on them. I was like, all right, sweet, you do you. Like, that's fine.
I was definitely enjoying obliterating bosses in
Interesting.
bear form, like with dropping tornadoes, and there's the totem which you can summon
Wait,
in
is-
animal
is my
form.
voice low?
And then you're putting fishes down and they're exploding, and you're putting extra
Yeah, it
things on the
sounds low.
ground and they're exploding. And there's definitely some boss deletion going on there. So-
Even just walking past the
Why does it sound so low? God
just
damn it.
many entangles going out, and then there's that plant support gen. I'm like, all right, it's
To
putting the
boost my
new-
voice.
I see
Hold
chat
on.
being like, no, Ziggy, don't get it nerfed. I do have to admit that I did already get one thing, let's say fixed.
Okay.
There was a thing that was like double generating rage. So I'm like, I don't know if this is intended.
Right,
And
right.
like, no, the designer said that's probably not intended. Thanks, Ziggy. I'm like,
I don't know. I
Sorry,
we'll see
guys,
where
not
that
again.
goes, because I was like, no, that's fine.
this is a fish.
It made it to me,
Yeah,
and
this
I
is
was
a
like, no,
Fisher thing.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it generates
Is it a
rage when you
firmware
first
update?
slam, and then
No,
the
but I
fishes
wanna-
every time they
I don't
pulse,
wanna
it
do a
generates rage.
firmware
I'm like,
update
oh,
now.
yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't even
Bro,
know
let me
that.
just
It's like the totem's
use my device,
making a
dude.
pulse, and that's generating rage.
Right,
Let
right,
me
right,
edit
right,
my
right.
device.
That's
God
sick.
damn
That's
it.
It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine.
I love that because that's like
Okay.
Fine.
ridiculously powerful. That
Yeah, yeah.
feels like way permissive. I was
Right.
like, this feels illegal, but that's like, you gotta let a few things in there
Okay.
that
It's
feel
Fine.
illegal.
It's doing what the skill says.
You just use a
may not-
filter.
Maybe I didn't get enough. Okay, cool.
I don't
Game
know. They might have
filter.
changed it. I'll find out afterwards. I just throw my opinion in there. I don't want
Increase
to
my voice to 5
necessarily be
decibels.
like, I try and make sure with a lot of these balance discussions, it's not like,
Maybe
you
that's
know,
better.
I'm just an authority on the matter. I want to actually discuss these things through because maybe it isn't actually fine, but
It's
you
quite
know,
loud now.
my first instinct
It's
is
good.
like, yeah, like let
Yeah.
it run wild. Like, what's the problem? You know? So
Yeah, you got to.
we'll see what happens, but whatever. They don't know what the problem is, so don't worry. Oh, now they do. Thanks, you ruined it. Now people will know if it changed, and now
Yeah. They'll see the thing not generating rage, and yeah.
I've missed,
they'll
like,
see the
everything they
line
talked
of
about.
text. Now, that's the Ziggy line of text. I'm developing a reputation now. Just helping finding bugs. It's okay. So, like the shapeshifting stuff comes from.
Stop
this
talking about the
trick
druid.
with
Where's the end game?
talisman.
Yeah, the animal talisman.
And is there any limitation to just kind of like putting that on another class and just say like, I am playing my Mace Marauder or my
Yeah.
Water Staff.
You can do
monk
that.
And I want to do a wolf
You can-
leap
Of course
that
you can.
marks targets.
You can do it. In
Okay,
fact, it was one of
cool.
the things initially that it's funny with the audio team because initially like, oh, we want to record like bear lines for
Yes.
for the druid the whole time, and I'm like, hey guys, remember anyone can turn into this animal. You're actually going to commit to every single class is going to have like
yeah.
up to three different extra versions of every single line the character can
True.
deliver.
Maximum effort.
It's like that's a bit tricky. So we ended up going with a voice mod in the end. But yeah, that was one of those.
It's like their kind of their thoughts. I think it shifts to. It almost sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like. They're like they're thinking it or something like that. I don't know.
But yeah, it would have been completely impossible to record every single line an additional 3 times
like,
for every
all
character
right,
class.
voice actors, everybody come back and we need you to roar like a bear.
Exactly,
What?
exactly. But yeah, effectively, every class can be an animal. It's exactly the same as the weapon restriction. Ultimately, being a bear is the same as having a mace, which may sound a little bit odd, but that is actually how it works. And what
Mace
allows,
bear.
having.
Whoa. I didn't even think about that. Wait, so you can use mace skills while in bear?
No.
form?
What I
Wait,
meant
no,
was
what?
is that it's the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it's just a weapon type, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Makes sense.
now we have to make that possible.
Wyverns of
you
which,
can
okay.
turn into cows as a
That's
bear,
unique
but,
item territory for the future.
Yeah, well, yeah, it often gets talked about like the idea of like, oh, why are things like so weapon locked? And I've always maintained the position that you guys want to kind of do that as much as possible initially, and then in the future you can blur the lines a little bit. Like there's maybe in the future you're like, oh, well, maybe this skill has a way of crossing over.
We can do, but the thing is, a lot of the identity of a weapon type really comes a lot from what it can do, and so that's the kind of the main reason why we do it that way. But but the thing is as well with the weapon swapping, I mean, so you can still use.
Is my
skills from
camera
different
really-
elements, different weapons and things.
Buggy?
The thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned that with the bear because, like, definitely some of the bears I noticed
Or is it
parallel
fine?
between some of its skills.
No,
and
it's
some
fine,
of
it's
its
fine.
mace stuff, and I could see absolutely combining like this bear skill that places fishes.
Cringe
with
talk,
the
yeah.
other stuff on
Yeah, I
the
kinda
that
agree.
triggers
It's
the
not-
fishes.
it's
Like, feels
not.
like
Let me-
very
hold
obvious,
on,
like,
guys.
Yeah.
cross-synergy build
Well, I
there.
mean, they're adjacent classes, right? I mean, you've got like strength versus strength int. Like, we want to be able to make sure that some of those key elements do like cross over, just so that to open up the way to have synergy between the different classes more easily.
Well, as you get more classes and more skills, you obviously get an overlap of the kind of mechanics and keywords and stuff, iterating, and thus they will always cross-synergize. And where there still will be new things a class offers, yes, there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that they use that will then interact with all the other skills.
Yeah, and now you added plants and plants that grow from rain, and there's a plant keyword that has overgrown as a keyword.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like,
It's interesting actually those ones because they're on completely opposite sides of the tree. You've got Dex versus Strength int, and that's been a little bit hard to kind of like get the where
Okay,
the
ladies
mechanics
and
should go
gentlemen,
on one side versus the other.
mukbang
so,
stream.
where we ended up going is that
We're gonna
the
have a
nature,
mukbang stream.
Side of things for plants
gonna
on the Strength int
on the stream,
is like
'cause I'm hungry.
Like, you've got the poison on the Dex side versus the kind of
But I'm
like
gonna
just
mute the
pure
microphone.
nature like physical
Okay.
damage spells on the
Banger.
on
We're gonna
the-
listen
on the
in,
Strength int side.
and we're gonna watch me
But
eat.
that's been fun,
That's
though, 'cause now
quality
it's been-
content.
It's actually been really fun designing the supports because the more classes we have, the more we can start to think, okay, like here's a support that's for something obscure. How can we make it so this can apply to some other kind of thing on the opposite side of the tree where like now you've got some interesting interaction. So there could be some kind of like thing where growing plants as a ranger could be sort of something. I mean, like I can't say I've tested the potential there myself, but like we made all of that work. All the plants can, like plant stuff all has mechanics around like watering the ranger's plants is like a thing. They all have ways that works.
I mean, that definitely opens up interesting party options in
Right,
the future as well. Like,
It's a thing.
I do like the idea of being like a
Okay, you
rainy
have-
druid watering.
It's a thing.
my
It's easily a
partner's
thing. It's not even
plants.
hard to do as well.
Right.
It's kind of just like, thanks, Druid, you buffed poison rangers.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of just what happened.
Yeah.
Alright, good, yes. And the rain buffing lightning skills as well, like increasing shock chance and
Yeah,
stuff. It's pretty wild how much stuff you've just jammed into one class here. How did you like kind of settle on a identity for the wyvern in particular? I feel like people know what a bear is, people know what the wolf is, And even a lot of the like druid stuff is pre-established as like, oh, you got plants and you got like nature and you got like lifting up the earth, that sort of stuff.
Well, we really wanted to have a third form that was a little bit out there in terms of different from what you'd seen in another game. I mean, obviously, like every game that's got transformations has the bear and the wolf, right? That's just like the staple. But and actually, for that, funnily enough, for that reason, we couldn't not do it. There was actually a period there where we weren't going to have a wolf because we were a little bit unhappy. Yeah, with us, and it's just like, well, exactly, right? That was the reaction. That was the reaction of like all the furries come out of the woodwork and like, you gotta have a wolf.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare, exactly, right? So we're like, okay, we'll have a yeah, exactly. Don't anger them. So that was a real concern. So we decided to go. We needed
Can't anger the furry guys. The furries will get to you.
One that was a little bit more out there. And really, when we're looking at the bear and the wolf, it was kind of like we want the slower, harder hitting. We want the faster and like speedy kind of version. Obviously, being the wolf. We also wanted something that had some range elements. And then a sort of more spellcastery vibe a little bit more. And so we sort of thought about it a little bit like, what animal is ranged? Like, it's not really, there's like kind of not a lot out there that can really sort of do that. And so, eventually we settled on the wyvern. I mean, someone of course at one point was like, how about a dragon? And we're like, what the heck? What are you talking about? But then eventually I thought about it and it's like, actually, you know what? There's some potential here.
If you suggested to me, I told you not to do it because like, there's no way you could make it look good and not look stupid. But
it eventually, it was hard though. We did get there.
It actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a spell blade almost. Like it's got a bit of a range stuff, but it's got a bit of like spell kind of melee things going on.
I mean, as it should be for Strength Int.
Yeah, and you were asking what the passive buffs were. I was looking at it before. It's like it's got buffs to freeze, shock, and energy regeneration. Actually, as well, like energy recharge. I think.
It's a shame you knew. The reason I was actually being vague is I knew what they were. I just wanted to change them.
Okay, I mean that's fine. Do something.
Sorry
cooler.
for my slight disingenuousness.
Do something cooler.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't. I didn't want them to be offensive benefits.
Yeah, they're supposed to be defensive.
It forces you into certain build types. Whereas, like, if they're utility or defensive, that way they will work across all board. That's my general philosophy. So I was like, I feel like I want to have a go at trying to design the energy shield thing. I don't mind. I wanted to have a go at designing stuff that's more utility or defensive only, and that way you don't feel like, oh, I should have to play lightning or fire because it gets the passive benefits. That way, if you wanted to do a kind of weird out there thing, it doesn't feel so bad, but we'll see what I come up with.
Do you have an idea, or are you still figuring it out?
Nah, I got no clue. I don't know. You could play on the fact it's got like wings to something defensive for block, or something for hard carapace maybe, or I don't know. The fact it has wings. Something to do with the wings.
So much dragon lore to pull from. I got like a book that my daughter really likes to read. That's like full of dragon lore. I'll send you some ideas.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Dragon. They hoard gold, right? Gold finds.
Yeah, totally.
That sounds like it.
Eat piles of gold for buffs or something.
There's gold over there. Quick shapeshift, pick it up. Shapeshift back. No, I'm obviously joking. Please, I'm not doing that.
Gold find, no, please don't. Mandatory dragon gold find build. I know it's kind of funny though. It's distinctly POE. So the druid is this like strength int class, and with the Templar we had the idea more of like you've got that armor energy shield stuff, but that's still the case here, as that's the strength int base. But I feel like the energy shield stuff is not as iconic to druid. How have you incorporated that and made it feel like something that makes sense, or like in what ways have you incorporated that to the druid? I feel like it's not obvious.
Yeah, look, it's a little bit off in terms of the feel there, but at the end of the day, we kind of don't really have many options as far as what we can do. I mean, like that, it is important for it to be that it has that, like armor and energy shield approach. There's a few sort of interesting, what do you call them, spirit reservation gems. I don't know I can never remember what the official name of that is. That sort of interact with that stuff in a dual way. So there's like that bark skin thing that effectively allows you to take advantage of energy shield to generate armor. Like, so when you lose energy shield, you get armor instead, and like it like creates little bits of bark on your skin.
Cool. Good kebab.
There's like
it
things
was
like
nice.
that we've added, but it's a little bit of a thematically weird thing. I think probably the weirdest part about that is like, yeah, you're gonna have energy shield as a bear. It's a bit.
But what does it mean? It doesn't make sense with energy shield and armor. It does though. The druid makes magics and it's strengthy.
Oh, you don't have to.
Well, I suppose, sure. You
It
can
makes
get
sense.
armor if you
Full
want,
armor.
but
Well, like,
yeah.
I feel like 'cause there's like such a range of identities
For
within
me,
that
it
one
does,
class as
at
well
least.
that you've got the bear maybe that doesn't really align as much with that. There's definitely more armor stuff.
Yeah,
going
so you
on
could
there.
build more strength when depending on what animal form you're playing, of course.
Yeah, whereas like the wyvern potentially has more of that kind of magical
It does.
aspect to it, where
And
it's
then-
like that's
Yeah, I mean, and that's why the wyvern itself does get the benefits
Yeah.
to energy shield, and the bear does get the benefits to armor in order to kind of make it so you are like, depending on what animal form you're going, there's a bit of alignment in the defenses there.
I mean, really, it's the tree that inspires and motivates this, right? Like, a sorceress could be on the bottom side of the tree and still have the same skill set, and obviously the damage nodes are a bit weird, but it could work. There's nothing saying. I mean, that's part of the beauty of the game as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had that experience where I was like, because it wasn't as clear. I was almost inventing my own lore there a little bit, where I was specking the regen from the druid, and then the zealot's oath right there. I'm like, oh, this actually like. You're converting your natural kind of like life regen into energy shield. Like, oh, this is kind of the druid's thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that is a way for sure. Like, Keystone's certainly
Why do they
pretty
all sit
powerful. We
like
have a
that
bunch of-
always?
I think
With one leg up? It looks weird.
there's an extra. I can't remember what
Is
it's
it-
doing.
is it-
There's
Looks
one,
uncomfortable.
there's one that says "Do not
How the
translate"
fuck
on
do you
it,
do
so
that?
it's
You have one
unfortunately
leg
it's in
there,
progress.
there? Oh, nah.
But yeah, we were playing around with
No,
some
that's-
trying to have some armor energy
Imagine
shield, more
sitting like
hybrid
this
stuff
for
going
2
on
hours.
with the Keystones there.
Hell no.
It was based on what's it called? POE1's is it Divine Shield? Is that the name of the keystone? I can't remember. Too many names. But it's based on that, but not exactly the same. Like a derivative of that we're trying to get going. But yeah, it's just because I was like, we need more keystones that I feel more druidy, and I know there's a rage one there that is embracing the animal ferocity, where it like what does it do? It's like doubles your maximum rage, but makes you don't get inherent bonuses from rage. So it's like, if you really want to do the skills that are rage consumers, like rampage, and you just want to rampage for as much time as possible, you obviously go for that keystone. You lose the benefits of rage, but you get to rampage around for twice as long. So a few things like that we're trying to add that are thematic as well. And I think that's another one of the really cool
Twice as long.
parts about adding a class is 1/6 of our tree was just filled with just placeholder garbage. Like, actually,
Wow.
like
Okay.
there is a giant link thing there. There's no links in the game, really. It's like, what are we doing with that? It's like, and so I was like, well, that looked like a vine. Just make that a plant thing. And, so
Okay.
now it's a plant thing that talks about overgrown plants. And
Oh, nice.
We filled in that
that's
whole bit
one.
of the tree, and guess what? Now witches and sorceresses have more energy shield stuff on that kind of direction around towards the druid, and warrior has more, and and I don't just mean energy shield, I mean everything, all the mechanics, right? All the int mechanics are kind of there, the strength mechanics, everything. So
It is nice we finally have a class in every different part of the tree, so like we don't have any just like weird open stuff anymore.
Yeah, that area of the tree was a little strange. I mean, it's such a massive tree already, and you're adding more to it. And then like, I have to wonder, like,
Yes.
how does this Oracle class?
Yes.
I saw the Shaman one. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I
Exactly.
expect. But then I saw the Oracle, and you guys had like 130 extra
So far.
passes.
So
far. Like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, that seems ridiculous.
Bro.
Because it's cool.
Because it's cool.
That really is
That's
the
the only
reason.
reason you
Dude.
could ask for, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
more can you want?
I really
Fun.
went through. I mean, I know we showed 2 examples, but I was like, really want to make sure
It's
there's like
fun,
cool
yes.
off-spec stuff here. I want to make sure that if you want to be able to get more of a certain thing, this is a way to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it still costs passive points to allocate, right? So it's more about, maybe you want some stuff that normally you'd have to go to the deck section for and get, maybe
Deck
some
section?
projectile related stuff, and now you can get it up there because it allows for some kind of weird off class, and it was all themed around
Dick section.
if you got to live your life again,
Dick section.
what would you change? Like, what different paths would you
Whoa.
take? And so it's this interesting, like,
It's an
I don't know.
existential crisis as a
but
node.
That fits period.
initially I always write my little blurbs about them to get them in the live stream, and I was like, it's got all the passives not yet added to the game. I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it. Not that that's actually how it is, but I thought it was like a kind of, it's like lessons you learn, you get to now use in advance kind of. I thought it was just a cool thematic thing that linked to the class. And it's easy, by the way, as designers to see that kind of thing and go, we have a million things to do. Like, is that really, like, that's too much time, too much work, right? And I'm just like,
Sad, isn't it?
if we say that about everything, you get nothing cool.
Yeah.
And so it's that, and I mean, even the shamans, like runes revealing hidden powers, like we're setting ourselves up for a large amount of cumulative time over a while, right? Any rune we add, anything like we have to add and consider the shaman stats, and that's another whole axis of things. We have to meta balance every league, and same with the Oracle passives. And every time we change the tree, and like when we eventually add the Templar, we're going to have to relocate all those nodes because that tree's going to get a giant. Now we've got 2.5 classes in one section, but it's worth it. It is actually worth it. You add so many builds, so many cool things, and if you don't want to deal with it, just pick another class. It's fine, you know.
Just pick.
You don't have
class.
to, or pick other nodes on the same class. You know, you don't have to take that node. So,
I think this like very clearly communicates that you're also okay with this idea of there being just like hidden cool stuff to discover that you're not going to know ahead of time, because you can't like look at the class options on the character selection screen and know what the passives are going to be that are hidden behind the Oracle ascendancy, right? So it's like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you just look. There's always going to be community tools, and they're going to come up with a way to make that, to the build guides and all that kind of stuff. So
I love the secret stuff. I actually got my secret Abyssal Lich.
Yeah, wild.
It was an actual final secret, and maybe there's more. Well, you want to do more of
that, don't you? I can tell. Look at him. He wants to do more.
Of course, I love it. I love people having cool secret things they can find, and it isn't just like 1000% pre-planned out of the gate. Like, I understand the need to plan. I understand the need to have confidence in a build, and you don't want to go in and only realize you've made the wrong decisions and stuff like that, for sure. But I definitely want to find that balance where you have that while you also get your cool secrets that you get to add to the game that are fun.
Yeah. I think there's like a couple more chat questions on Druid, but we'll try and move on to the other stuff soon, because I know people want to talk about the other thing. I could talk about Druid all day. I think the design's super interesting here. But some of the questions were that I think people are a bit confused about like the talismans and the forms and how that stuff works. So the talismans are effectively just like another weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like attack speed, movement speed on gear, and everything will affect you in your movement.
Absolutely.
Advocacy with your
I think because a lot of
question.
other games do it where when you change form, like all of a sudden, your weapon's not affecting you, or this thing's not affecting you.
Well, I mean, effectively, so we're doing the changing form by utilizing weapon swaps. So you've got two weapon sets inherently, and the talisman effectively serves as your weapon. Like if you're playing a druid, you are going to have to learn how to use weapon specialization passives and stuff like that if you want to have the spellcaster and melee thing. Now, a lot of the passive tree nodes, like in the druid section of the tree, all have like attack and spell damage and that kind of stuff. So like certainly for most of the start of the class, you won't have to worry about it. But as you get deeper in, and if you want to do hybrid spell attack, you are going to have to think about like, okay, what are my attack passives, what are my spell passives, and do that.
I was actually surprised at how simple and straightforward it was
What
to do.
happens?
So like the weapon specialization tree thing, you still do need to think about and understand how that works. But the basics of it, like using the actual skills, just happens automatically. Like I never have to actually go in and
No. You don't have to worry about that part. Just because of the fact that because this has always been the rule, but it's really apparent here. Like if it'll swap to the weapon set that can use the ability, so therefore you don't have to actually tweak it. You just put it in and it kind of works.
If I tried to use my
Follower
spell,
only
it would shift to
chat?
human
Yeah,
automatically
exactly.
and use the staff. And so like that was all automated, and
Fine.
I didn't have to like program anything like that.
Right.
Like,
Bro,
I have
what's
on some
wrong
other
with this
builds, I can
microphone?
spread
But yeah,
spell.
mostly that's just because you have get into a situation with those where because it's usable on both. Now you have to start going in
We
there
are
and tweaking
following
that
for
stuff. But
1
yeah,
minute
because
and 15
it makes it much
seconds.
simpler when you
Oh
don't have to worry
my
about that.
god!
Yeah, so there's a decent onboarding
Why you
there,
make it so
given the
annoying?
potential complexity of that. All right, so we'll move on now to the Fate of the Val expansion, and
Okay,
there's
nice,
definitely
nice,
more
nice.
of a like clear
Interesting,
divide
interesting,
between
finally.
the two things, and you even actually made two separate trailers this time around.
Well, it would have been super weird to have these like two completely clashing themes in the trailer. So yeah, in the end we were like, that's like normally of course we'd make one trailer with everything, but we're kind of like, man, it's really hard to unify these two things in a kind of reasonable way. So yeah, in the end we decided to go with two trailers and just like show the content completely
and
separately.
they're not connected. Like they
No,
don't,
not
they
at
don't
all,
have to
right?
be, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, they're
exactly.
not. Aside from both of them having a buttocks in it, they're not connected.
Yeah,
that just happened.
Yeah, that
True.
was total accident, by the way. It was just like two totally unrelated.
yeah, sure. I was praising the equality of it. Like,
Okay, bro. Okay.
yeah, I was great. There's buttocks for everyone here in this trailer. Excellent. Thank you. So this expansion is, and we saw this a little bit where you tried to work in the previous league mechanics into like story quest stuff, which I was super keen on. This expansion definitely feels much more deeply linked into the campaign and story, to the point where like Doriani's saying, go back in time and try and change these things that happened in the campaign.
Change the
this feels like a major
Val
campaign
dying.
story beat.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few things going on there. So, like initially, this league, unlike I think what we've done too much of in the past, the storyline develops quite a lot more, kind of like through the campaign with different events that happen and sort of link in a lot. And part of the reason originally for that is that one of the things we sort of don't like necessarily about what leagues do is like you've got this situation where you like walk out of town in like, you know, literally the first area, and it's like some eldritch entity is immediately recruiting your services. You know what I mean? Like it's actually very like unfortunate.
Put this rusty thing in your body.
Exactly right. So we kind of wanted to try and make sure that there's a little bit more like it doesn't feel like the world is on your shoulders like right from the get go. Like there's actually like a little bit a growth of epicness throughout.
Growth of
so like
epicness
if we'd have had it so it's like
game.
you're time traveling into the past, like the moment you walk out the gate, it's like okay, it's just not quite right. So we decided what we'll do is we'll make so that, you know, there is the temple. We've got a kind of like almost a baby version of the mechanic where you've got a lesser number of rooms, like it's kind of a bit simpler, like to start out with. And then once you pass the sort of key point in the storyline, then it like really opens up. You go into the past, you've got a little more story stuff going on. It did add quite a lot more work to kind of have to make two versions of a bunch of things and that kind of stuff. But I think it is worth it because it means that it feels like the league has a lot more going on. It just doesn't kind of you don't break immediately the feeling of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Just think about the new players who's playing on the free weekends and then decide to buy the game.
Opinions on this
they,
one.
They have no idea
Dark
about
horror,
story.
gothic, secondary 3 dimensions deep of, you know, like I'm in the past and or in some sort of demon realm now. I don't know what's going on here.
And it's fine as you go, but this is actually one of the challenges I think we're going to have just designing leagues generally, is that they're going to require a bit more work to make them feel right. I mean, even just something as simple as like the
nice, they're actually taking league serious.
That's good. The Val sacrifice circles that you get throughout the world. Normally what we would have done is like make one thing and call it a day. Here what we've done is we've got like 10 or more. It's a ton of variations of those where for like each act we're like, and like for each area we're thinking like, okay, which like we need more of these so that we can use them so they feel natural in the place where they are, like do a bit of material reskin, stuff like that. Like that's kind of the stuff that we now need to do to sort of make it feel like you're not breaking
like
the world stuff.
the POE1 style, you know, betrayal basement. You know, you just like, okay,
just
so there's just a
randomly.
basement everywhere, like in the mud flats. Like, okay, you know, that just doesn't fly anymore at all. So like, we want to make sure that these things are way more believable.
Right.
Like you are actually convinced. You're like, you know, this makes sense. You know, I'm not just in a basement in the mud flat in a swamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Val is a very distinct thing, and it's very like tied to Act 3 as well. So I was a bit worried about like the tone of Act 1 with the Val stuff, but then like it fits in reasonably well. Like you've definitely taken good care to make sure that it doesn't.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of making it feel like there's some ancient ruin that then later someone came along, like some Exiles went there and they built some stones around it because they're like, well, what is this thing? And like, we just thought a little bit about like how would the culture here have reacted to the fact that there was this ancient ruin from long ago in this location and that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And you mentioned to me that this is the bar for what you want to be doing. This is the quality level for what you want to be doing.
So I'd say that like it does sort of I would say here, like the level of polish and the stuff that we're doing, like the amount of content that a league needs to actually be good. Like, you know, obviously when we did 020, the league was a little bit like, you know, it was just the Asmerian spirits, and like, I mean, it was a league, but it wasn't really. Didn't have like the depth of content and stuff that you needed. And then with 030, I think we did a lot better. Like it came a lot better, but I still don't think we quite got there in terms of
that was like
the
POE1 level kind of.
And then this one here, I think like, you know, you get up to the level of quality that we really want to be delivering in POE2, like, you know, post release and everything, and like the kind of the amount of content you need for a league. Like it needs to be quite sizable and good, and it did take a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it because you sort of shows you what we can do when we
yeah, I was gonna say that's like a high bar that you've effectively kind of like locked in committing to for expansions.
Well, hopefully I don't come to regret it, but you know, it's and honestly the scope did explode a little bit because when we I think that one of the things so when I initially designed the league, I was kind of like, okay, we're going to have like some limited number of rooms. We kind of spec'd it out, and like we, you know, each one will have a few levels, and it kind of didn't seem like it was that large.
Ziggy,
but
ask
really,
better
in the context
questions,
of POE2, it's like, well, if you're going to spend effort to upgrade a room, it needs to feel meaningfully different and have meaningfully better rewards and all that stuff, and it pretty soon expands into like a really huge list of like different combat encounter mechanics and different like crafting mechanics and different rewards and everything.
Right?
Like There
or
are
do you
so
just place
many
them
new
out?
rewards and things
I remember.
just in the temple. It's crazy. Like there's a lot there. Like certainly the number of expanded crafting options and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we could take some inspiration from what POE1 did with Incursion, in terms of double corrupts and stuff, but we had to make it work in a POE2 context. There's just a lot there.
Yeah, I
double corruption
followed
is gonna
your
be
progress
crazy.
with designing this one
Yes,
from
well,
the very beginning.
Yeah, the funny thing is about that
50%
is that it
chance
actually
to
came
break
from a
the
game
item,
that you
dude.
recommended that I
Yeah.
play.
I
wasn't gonna even say
no. So you recommended that I play this game called Loop Hero, and I really enjoyed it. Then everyone's going to think that the game we're inspired by is Blueprints, but it actually wasn't. It was Loop Hero.
It was so good because I
Will
told you about
Endgame
that
reach
game,
a
and then
Q&A? Yeah,
it was like
that's my question.
a week later or something. You sent me a message like, "Hey, I've made this little program."
Yeah. So I prototyped up like a thing that for what would become the UI for Incursion.
Yeah,
We
what
actually
is
ended up.
that?
It's funny because this is like the first league I've actually personally done code on in like quite a long time.
You really got into it.
Yeah. Because it was just
grabbed you.
it was a real fun, just like evening thing to like go and just like work on this design. One of the great things about doing that is that I got to make so many design changes just in the course of writing it, like, which I don't think necessarily would have gone exactly the same way if I was getting other people to do it. So yeah, that was really fun. And just make and then effectively the back of it is like the code that I wrote, but obviously the UI of it is like a whole thing that a bunch of other people worked on and made really look really awesome. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what is it like about this one that grabbed you so much? Because you got so involved and so personally, like working on it at home.
Yeah, I
evening,
just
like,
really enjoy this kind of like little game within a game, like little metagame things. And just that dungeon design thing is just a really fun thing for me.
Tile placing.
Yeah,
good, right?
it's always it's really fun.
Love a good
board
tile
game.
placing.
And
the
I just
game.
like coming up with all the little
Game
ways
in a
that we
game.
can interact and that kind of
Gameception.
thing, and try to make
Love
ways
that.
feel a bit different and that kind of stuff.
You want
It's
to play a
just good time.
game inside a game?
Yeah, and it's got this like
Very-
iterative design where you're
It's called
you're
puzzles,
building a temple,
guys.
you run
Puzzles
it, like,
in
it's really
games
small
are
when it
just
first
games
and it
within a
crumbles
game.
bit,
It's a
and then
mini
you're still
game.
kind of building on
That's what
you're
mini
doing
games are.
each
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It's like a
Game
weird
within
kind
a
of like
game.
roguelike-y thing
It's
without
insane.
being a roguelike
Gameception.
itself.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with that design then, I'm curious, like does it like fully reset at some point? Like for example, when you kill at Zeri?
It
How
never
does that
fully
work?
resets, but when you kill at Zeri or defeat an architect, quite a lot of the temple gets destroyed. So there's this
Okay.
kind of destabilization thing. It goes back to not the start, but kind of I think it removes like 2/3 of the rooms. There's some number like that it gets rid of at that point, and then you kind of have to build up again. That's just. That effectively means that like when you do those options, you're getting like new reward rooms and things to play. So it's giving you new goals, and then you have to work towards those goals again. And then ideally, those reward rooms can be rewarding enough that the benefit of going back to smaller is I'd say the negative of going back to smaller is completely outweighed by the benefits you're getting from the extra rooms that you're able to place.
So you can juice it a fair bit too.
You can,
because
yeah.
There's a lot of like modifiers that are getting added on by each room, and you can place quite a lot of them.
Yeah,
on that
you can,
grid.
yeah.
Do you foresee people building out like a huge temple and then kind of not having it decay as much as possible?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not
I mean,
running out Zeri?
it's absolutely intended that you'll do that. I mean, once you've defeated at Zeri enough times, you've got the uniques from there, and you've done like other things like that. Then you absolutely will like probably want like for ultra end game play when you really want like the most challenging stuff, and you're just like looking to get like as many double corrupts as you can and stuff like that. You're probably going to want to keep the temple large and specifically not do the stuff that would cause it to destabilize. Because if you don't kill the architect and you don't kill at Zeri, then it will it'll only pull you back. I can't remember the exact number of rooms, but there's some number of rooms that go away when it's quite full, and then yeah, you can just juice it really high and have really challenging in-game scaling tier of stuff.
Yep.
Because one of the things we were sort of concerned about is that there is some in-game content that just doesn't really scale as hard as it needs to scale to make it properly in-game viable.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make sure that this was not the case here, that it actually does scale enough into the in-game.
Okay, so like designed to be pretty farmable and to be pretty late game
Of
relevant.
course, yeah.
It gets pretty hectic with all those mods.
Yeah.
With how many rooms are on there and like.
Yeah. But also just other things that you want to do, like so for example at the start of the game you can only you can't like store up temple runs, as it were. As you get into the game, then now we start to have it so that you can store up more runs, so that you can like map for a while, then like do a bunch of incursion.
I think we
temples
have it that eventually you can do 60 maps and then temples, and then 60 maps, then temples.
if you want. So
if you want,
yeah,
or you can do 6, then a temple,
Yeah.
then 6, then a temple.
So you can effectively store
or
up
anywhere
10
anywhere
runs,
in between.
10 runs
Nice.
if you want.
I feel like with these
10
things,
runs,
like
10 runs.
now I keep seeing like, you guys have thought of it. The
Well,
problems
the
we've
thing
had in
is
the
that we've
past,
got so much
you're
experience
learning.
and stuff. I mean, yeah, like so for example, the whole like taking the currency away from the temple instead of having to craft inside the temple thing.
Yes.
Like that's just a hard learned lesson from POE1 where you just need to.
learning.
You say we thought of it, and I have, because I'm just going to bring it up. But like, and a thing about, and this is something that I'm on the fence about a little bit. Personally, but yeah, the thing with the killing architect and Itzeri, destroying a bunch of the temple, creating that clash of either farm temple or farm boss, can be quite a divisive thing for people.
Right.
You're looking at Betrayal Katarina, right? And the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we've now on POE1, we separated those two things so they're not, because it always felt bad doing one or the other. Or I could feel bad doing one or the other, depending on how the balance went. And so you might get a similar thing here. Now, of course, the amount of the temple that can get destroyed is variable, and there's a bunch of stuff we can obviously tweak. But yeah, like getting that right and feeling right will be important. It's honestly hard to say if it is right now. But it's a thing, we say we've thought about it, but it can be very easy to see that and be like, hey, they're doing the same mistake they've made last time. Which, you're not wrong. Except
What are the people
depending
saying? 60
on honestly
maps
having
for 10
the
temples?
lever this
What do they
time
mean?
in place of how much gets destroyed instead of
Plan for
entire
that.
board reset kind of thing. We get to control that a lot better and iterate on that if we need to. So
6 cities.
Yeah, that's true. You've already
we've thought
established.
about
Does
it, but
POE2 play better
I
than
could
the
see,
quality
because
of
I
the
was just
stream?
thinking about it going,
Why-
I reckon
Why are
people
people hating on the quality of the stream?
I was just looking at it going like,
It just-
the idea that
the
it's like, hold on,
FPS
I
just
can't
gets
farm the
low
bosses. I either have to
from
pick
time to
bosses or
time.
pick
It's
temple.
fine.
It can be quite bad.
Well,
So
yeah, that's clear then that you've kind of already got your hand hovering over the lever waiting to like adjust it as needed.
yeah, and it's honestly kind of hard to know with, I mean, even if you, again, it's the
Well,
kind of
the thing with this sort of stuff specifically is you're talking about that's the type of gameplay that is hard to test internally.
Yeah,
Because how
yes.
can you do just like you can't really test like what is weeks of grinding gonna feel like, it's
Weeks of
yeah.
grinding.
You
so
can't-
I expect us to maybe we hit the sweet spot. Who knows? Hopefully, but I could imagine that this is a thing that gets adjusted for sure.
Yeah, so you've made the like the ability to sell like the corruptions, the double corruptions as an itemizable thing you can just take away and sell. Is there any reason to like itemize the temple like we did in POE1?
Nah, so that was really more of a band-aid solution in POE1 because we
Yeah.
didn't have an easy way to change that. Like I'd prefer that the temple is your temple and that you don't sell them, but just that all the rewards are the things that you can trade. Like trading the rewards was the reason why we I did our temple itemization in the first place. Just if this time people were just making sure to design the stuff in a way that can be take back that you can take with you.
No need for the band-aid in the first place.
Exactly.
There's some really basic crafts that like your classic exalted orbs and stuff like that. Mostly honestly in the campaign.
Yeah.
And this is so when you're doing the temple, you're getting not just the opportunity like because obviously some of that double corrupt stuff you're not going to do that at like level 8. I mean, Val orbs aren't even in the game at that point. Yeah. So you have this thing where it's like, well, you don't get a lot of the crafting. Now, there are still rewards. There is, of course, all of that, but there's also just basic crafts like exalts and regals and stuff. Stuff you can just
How
throw
long
in
are
your
they gonna
gear.
talk
Now, you
about?
can't take those, and that is an intentional
Not the end
decision
game.
so that you feel like you're actually wanting to use it on your gear in the campaign and as you're progressing. And you're not, because if you can take it, most of the time you're just going to hoard it for endgame.
Right. So it's those things to make the early game have
I'm gonna
more
be
crafting
honest,
stuff
I'm
that you
actually almost
wanted to
falling
use
asleep.
right there.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, what stops you from
Like,
just like
this is-
keeping your results until end game?
Yeah, yeah.
You want to use those
so
patches then.
you'll see those and go, I want to take that home, but just use it.
Yeah.
It was a substantial buff to campaign crafting from my experience of messing with it so far. It's like you basically go in and there's like 6 crafting rooms and you're like just going on a little crafting spree of like upgrading your gear.
Yeah, I mean the temple. We it's funny because there's always the question whenever we make a league of like, well, what if people always say, oh, there's no reason to do this during the campaign, and it's like we really have to incentivize that to make it so that no, there's actually worth doing. Like you're going to get a substantial power boost if you decide to engage with the league.
Yeah, you could. It seems like you can kind of like hold off as well. Like you can be like, oh, my gear's kind of okay now. I'm gonna do that a little bit later.
You always want it to be both feeling rewarding and give you obviously an advantage, and also not feel so mandatory that you're like, ugh, what?
It felt like kind of a bit optional in the sense that like, oh, I really need some gear upgrades now. Let's go into the temple and spice up all my gear.
Perfect.
Nice.
That's what we want.
Yeah, cool. And it is interesting that you've got this like
Less loot
rating
equals
the
more
broken
game
down
time in
version
their
of the temple in the beginning, and then it
basically
basically changes into this whole other thing halfway through the campaign. That story beat there.
The other thing about the campaign thing is the same thing we learnt from Abyss, where we did the area specific rewards throughout the campaign. We have also dropped
Stutter! Yes, do you need to
something
bring
here
the
from the
items
in-world encounters.
inside
So
for the
even if you're
encounter?
not doing the temples, doing the in-world encounters can give you that extra drop per area.
It seems like on the back end, maybe you've kind of taken what Abyss was doing and almost shifted it over.
There's
pretty
some
much.
modifications, but yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
Well, we've effectively got our, allocated amount of rewards and crafting and stuff for what a league is allowed to do and should do, and we're just trying to make sure that it fulfills that it fills that budget, so to speak. Of
you're getting a lesser jewels or bin keth or something like that, kind of similar to before, which is good. But yeah, I was definitely, that was a huge
10 out
thing
of 10
because I thought that was a really good improvement to
release
campaigns.
action.
So it's good to see continuing with that. And it felt pretty successful as a design decision. Nice. I'm really glad double corruption is back. I feel like that's a great thing
Double
from POE1 to be
corruption, bro.
returning.
One thing we've changed here is that because double corrupt existed in POE1, you never Valorb gear. Well, I don't say never. Obviously, there are still cases, but generally speaking, why single corrupt it to when you could double corrupt it? So we've made sure here that the double corrupt has to occur on top of a corrupted item.
That's cool.
Right.
So yeah, you have to Valorb land it, and then you have to land the double corrupt on top
Land
of
the
that.
first Val.
Oh man, it almost feels like you're in some cases risking something even more because you've got that really high-end unique with like a really good corruption already, and now you're risking that, not just risking a blank item on a double corruption. So like it's a heftier risk now in some cases.
Gamble.
I like it.
That's
Bro,
the
this is the
Valspur right
gamble.
there.
The gamble.
Like, oh man, this thing's already worth many divines at this point. I was like, oh no.
The Twitch
good
highlights
screw
on this is gonna
So
be
you actually
crazy,
have to,
bro.
though, like it has to be crafted.
Yep, so you craft first, and then you can apply the double craft.
Okay, cool. It keeps the usefulness of the Valor.
Like the
as well,
clips
to
of people
kind of-
Yeah, I didn't
ruining
want
their
Valor
gear
to just-
is gonna be
Yeah,
You still use them on
hilarious.
lightweight stones or whatever, but I didn't want them to just be like never used on gear anymore because you'd rather just double corrupt it. And so it was a suggestion a developer made a while
It's
back, and
gonna
I was
be
like,
so funny.
that's immediately a win.
It's
And I
honestly
almost
gonna
want
be
to
so
change that in
funny,
POE1
yeah.
as well, but then I
Yeah.
just forgot about it, to be honest. So, I'm not sure if I do want to do that just before everyone maybe goes like, what the hell? No. But,
Consider it.
I
Under
like the
consideration.
idea, and I think it is an overall improvement,
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. And then you've got this whole other system now, which you had a little bit of it in POE1 recently, where you can corrupt uniques and it replaces a random modifier on them.
Yes.
So this is limited to specifically Adziri. No, what
Not
is it?
Azeri, Val uniques. Yeah, so
uniques.
initially, I really wanted to make it so you could just replace arbitrary mods on any unique, but the
Crazy.
problem is, yes, it was just a
Unhinged.
can of worms that was just not even possible to contain. So
A can of worms.
basically what we were like, okay, is there still a way to do this that's like not going to be quite so crazy? And then we were like, okay, if we can pick a subset of uniques, and we ended up going with Val uniques, for obviously thematic reasons, then we can sort of make sure that like while it's still crazy, like there's still sort of insane interactions, we can kind of at least have somewhat of an understanding of what happens. But it does truly work where like it picks a random mod that's on the item and then replaces it with another random mod. So you can create some.
You can use it on non-Val. It works differently.
Huh?
I don't know.
What?
This is news to me. I didn't actually know that. What
Wait,
is this?
I think it's similar to Ancient Orb in POE1, so it like re-rolls it. The idea here is like it's meant to work on these Val items because they've been like
Incompatible item error.
infused with royal bloodline
Yeah.
blood, and so it's like the way it works on Val uniques is different to just random uniques. So it's like, hold on, it works a bit more chaotically here, and
Right.
just changes the item entirely to something else on non-Val. So, and I only say that because
Next
obviously it's
patch,
pretty
guys.
bad to be like, I have to have a Val unique in order to use this. Now, no, you can take the currency home, so that's never the end of the world. But I want it to be like, just go grab some random unique and re-roll it.
Just grab a
using
random.
it on the Val uniques is like quite cool. Right now, I'm trying to make sure, a process that we've been doing is that we're not just replacing it with kind of just some random basic stuff. Like, that will happen. That is a part of the pull, but we're trying to go through, because we have a more limited set of uniques we have to actually do the mod replacement on. I want to make sure we're actually thinking about, for example, the Zerfi's body armor that has, like, Soul Leader. And it's like a level 39 base type.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, like, this is a tool we could use to make that more in-game viable.
Yeah, I'm
And
following
so
the
you
feed.
can do things like heavily increase the defenses, because obviously level 39 versus a level 75 base type or whatever is going to have very different defenses. But then you can also be like, what about if I was like, what other weaknesses does this item have? Well, you can't generate
is
soul leader
the-
stacks on a boss. Maybe this can turn that on, and so all of a sudden you can replace, I don't know, the life regeneration rate with
When are the patch
a soul
notes
leader
coming
now
out?
generates once per second while a boss is in your presence or something like that, Now these are
Release
kind of
December
examples.
12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12
but that was a specific one that I really wanted to do. So, but then I was like, I don't know, what if you did plus 25 Soul Eater stacks and stuff? But it's like very specific outcomes, very specific to that unique.
Yep.
And I wanted to do a bit of that to use it as an opportunity to be able to save low-level uniques, if you know what I mean, to make them more in-game viable. And I thought that was a cool way. And obviously that's restricted to the Vial pool for now, but like, if it works and works successfully, there's no reason that like some other mechanic can't do it for Ezomite uniques. So, we'll see how it goes, but I'm hoping now, obviously, because I don't know how far through we'll get with all of these specific, because it's like a lot of stuff. Once you start doing specific things for specific uniques, it's a lot of stuff to implement. So I don't know how far, but I was like, let's start with the mythic uniques, the rarest, most powerful ones, and we'll work backwards, getting to the more common ones at the end.
I mean, you've also got just the general
buffing
of a bunch of other uniques as well, right? I mean, there's a lot of that.
Yes, true. And I mean, that was part of that when I was like, okay, how can we buff this? How can we buff this? How can we buff this? And then I was like, well, a lot of them are like, this is too low level. And I was like, well, we have this system in the league. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, hopefully. And it's the kind of thing where even if we don't, obviously these leagues end up often going core in some various means. So if we don't hit the mark entirely with all the uniques, I'd like to eventually get there where we have a good, cool, really thought out set for literally every Val unique. So hopefully that's fun. And then you do the cool things where you just get these really, really... I assume you're going to get some that have these... You replace the exact two bad sides with the exact two... Because you can replace more than one sometimes.
45 minutes.
And you get the you get the exact, like, holy, this unique just went from being worth, something 1 divine to 300 divine, kind of territory. So hopefully that happens. If it doesn't happen, I'll be a bit sad. But we'll try. You can never know with these things for sure.
And this includes the new, Adzira uniques that she's dropping then, obviously, since she's
Adzira
kind of the queen
uniques?
of
Adzira uniques, Trial Master uniques, a bunch of stuff. So
a fair few there then. Is that something that you anticipate expanding upon in the future then?
I mean, we'll be always adding more Val uniques.
Right.
So yes,
but in terms of for other cultures, that would probably come in a different form, in a different league mechanic or some other place like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. For sure.
In terms of the overall idea of upgrading low level uniques.
Yeah. Did you ever discuss the idea of Val's skill gems? It feels weird to add that when you're still adding regular gems.
It doesn't quite. So I mean, fundamentally, what a Val skill gem is in POE1 is like a kind of ultimate type style ability in some sense, So it's like we're kind of doing that in our normal gems at this point. So it didn't really quite make sense to do it here.
It's like the glory on the skills.
Glory kind of
Yeah, that's what I figured. That it's kind of like you'd only be really doing it for nostalgia value at this point, I think.
Now that isn't to say there won't be something in the future, but I agree that doing something like that when you haven't even got, all the classes and skills in place and all that. I would say that's like a post-release feature, not a pre-release feature kind of thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
And are you still kind of with challenge leagues planning on having things like challenges, challenge rewards, etc. Post-launch?
So the plan for that was post-launch. It basically was kind of during early access, it doesn't quite make sense to do that. Post-launch, we'll return to that again.
All right, shifting onto the topic of endgame, but first, just a brief detour. Trial of the Ancestors, or the mystery content in the new acts, and our third means of ascending. What's the progress like?
Well, we don't have anything to say at the moment, but it'll need to come obviously at some point. But we didn't have time in this one certainly to work on that.
It keeps coming up. It is really just a matter of
no, it's not out yet.
When. At what cost, etc. The classic, just resource distribution kind of things where it's like, when are we going to do it, and what, instead of this, and we have all these different ideas, and so but right now,
imagine having a third way to ascend. That would be so
on
good,
endgame. Firstly, thanks for nerfing the delirium fog.
Yeah.
You saw the memes, I guess.
For sure.
So I've been enjoying all the foggy memes everywhere. That's good. Visibility improvement for the endgame, but not only that, you guys didn't just tone down the fog. You've done some pretty major things with the tablet waystone system.
I mean, the very first question, and before we even toned down the fog, the first question was, okay, well, why do you feel like you have to run every map this way in the first place, right? Like the fact that something feels mandatory is already a problem, regardless of the fact that the effect is also annoying.
Why am I forced to play this when I want to just play?
And it really then started coming into, okay, well, how people are finding waystone crafting more annoying. And we only made it more annoying in Abyss with the having to go somewhere else and get it, it just made it not particularly great. The first question is, well, how can we fix this problem, right? And effectively we were kind of like, we can go two ways with this. We can either make it so that every league has something that feels mandatory that multiplies with rewards, or we can say no leagues do. In which case, it's more about like which league do you want to run for different, for various different content that they can provide. So we decided to go with no leagues do because I think that it's probably just like less busy work, less annoying. Like if every league gave you something that you needed to like craft and do something with, it just would have been a pain. Which is why even in the live stream we're like, from this point on, just like waystones, they all get regular. They'll have the regular crafting of just regular base currency, but we're never going to add to them again like a thing that requires you to do more crafting than that. Another layer of that, because I think that having to do that every map is too frequent. Doing it on the tablets means that it's just way less frequent that you have to do these things, which helps a lot. And then, of course, the question was, well, how can we make sure that we're not like doing a nerf to overall juicing potential here? So then we had to look into, how can we get back the, the power you had? So that's when we got into the extra mods on tablets and things like that, in order to sort that out.
Now, obviously, you were hoping to do more end game for this expansion. So, what's kind of happened with?
What happened?
Well, I guess the sort of two things that we see as like the major problems in end game. One of them is when you get there, it can feel like you don't really have a proper goal. Like you don't have immediate okay, here's a quest to do this and a quest to do that and that kind of stuff. So there's like a little bit of that missing, and that really is a content thing that just requires us to expand upon what a league is. Now, something like something like Fate of the Vaal, it immediately has story stuff to do and so on. So when that goes to end game later, you'll have like storyline things sort of built in a way that can like make it so you've got that. But the other leagues don't have that as much, so we need to really make sure we're expanding on those. But the other thing as well is the Atlas tree just needs a lot more love and attention and like the way that it works and all that sort of stuff. So we just need to do a lot more there.
I opened that tree yesterday and I was like, oh, this sucks.
It's a little tragic.
It sucks.
We don't need 5 trees.
So, but the thing is that in order to make it good, you have to spend a lot of time and attention making new notables that are cool, that require like actually modify things in cool ways and like actually really meaningfully do something, and that's just a lot of time and work to do that. So
do you have an idea for what you want to do with the ascendancy tree side of things? Like, is it kind of angling more towards what you've done in Puppet?
Well,
it's been pretty successful.
Well, I don't think we should be talking about that yet, just because it's more for later. But yeah, I mean, we've got with the things we want to do.
Yeah,
there's stuff we want to do.
We're a bit of trying not to spoil anything here. We obviously are spoiling the fact we are doing something. And I'll tell you, it's not even.
Chat, but we don't know what
it's not the same. It's not similar. It's like it's in a whole different universe. So it's kind of like, which makes it a little bit hard because obviously we're in this state where we want feedback about the in game.
Yeah, it's
and so I do want to put like people should keep giving feedback because I don't want people to think they're reworking it in game anyway, so I'm not going to say anything just in case. You never know.
There's also different parts of the end game that kind of are like independent of the just things like how the Atlas tree works.
Yep.
So
but yes, that tree is effectively going to be completely reinvented. So that will get a full drastic change, and then the something that like POE1 with the whole complete your atlas being a very clear, very obvious goal. Right. You just complete all the maps and you get your atlas is complete. And then there's heaps more beyond that, of course. There's all the boss farming and all the different progressions and even that has like multiple quests throughout the main quest line with the different pinnacles and all that. We just don't have any of that really. It's just immediately into this infinite unguided adventure. And there's a little bit of things with the corrupted zones and bit of that and like, the burning monolith but it's still mostly unguided. You don't really feel like you have like, I've completed the main thing. Now I'm going to farm, at the moment. It's pretty unsatisfying, I'd say. So really trying to drive that home. And then the other thing that honestly we spoke about upgrading the leagues and adding more bosses is like, that whole like having King in the Mist and Olroth as the pinnacle bosses of the leagues, just being like copy pastes from POE1. Was not our end goal, you know what I mean? Like, they're a bit sad as pinnacles right now, and like honestly we need to up the epic a lot. So we've got a lot of that coming, and then just general upgrades to all the leagues. Like some of them are too, Ritual has the whole omens are too good, and others are just like, well, why would I do this? And there's a bit of that going on. So just a general balance and via adding more content and different axes and all kinds of stuff. So there's heaps coming. But based on all that, to answer the original, is that's how you can see how it didn't make the cut, because it is a ton of work. It turned out to be way more than we had anticipated, and it was just like, damn, we kind of talked about wanting to do an in-game upgrade, a big revamp in 040, and now we've got too much work, and we still believe it's the right thing to do, so we're going to commit. And normally we often get faced with the option: do we cut it down to make it fit, or do we commit to it all and do it? And I don't think in this case we could have cut anything without kind of just honestly making it look half-assed, to be honest. So we were like, no, we need to do it all, which means, unfortunately, yes, it's not going to make 040. But then we were like, well, we can't just now do nothing. So what can we do? Well, obviously, we're not just going to be like, because we're doing an 050, we'll just leave the fog alone.
Yeah.
Obviously bad, which was a bug, by the way.
Really?
All fogs, like the volumetric fogs in the game, have a cutout around the player.
Yeah.
That like cuts out and then tapers off. And all fogs in the games, there's multiple different fogs, had it except for Delirium Fog. It was the only fog that didn't have this. So that was, well, like, we can start there by re-adding it, and then we'll iterate until we feel like it's about right. But yeah, kind of sad when you look into these things and you're like, oh, damn. Oops. It was just broken the whole time. But either way, like, you know, a player doesn't know if it's broken or just intended. So obviously, fixing it is the important thing. But yeah, I know there's that guy on Reddit doing a post every day, and
they can finally rest.
Your thank you for your service.
Your watch is complete. Yes, we can actually see the ground. It was just hilarious in some maps, whereas like they have holes in the ground, and like there's so much fog you actually can't tell where the holes are. It's like I can't move anywhere. It looked a lot better from the footage, so it's a big improvement for sure. So you mentioned that, but there was also another kind of key change that you wanted to make sure to get in this one, and that was the kind of like monster density getting swarmed issue.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one because so when we were doing 031, this was actually already a thing that we were tabling and talking about. We kind of thought that players probably wouldn't like it because the like monster density can be a very touchy thing, right? But the funny thing is that what we found was that even after we what we actually sort of heard more was like, oh, we actually liked what the improvements were early in game, and we actually would wish that the rest of the end game was more like that. And we're like, okay, well, if that's the case, then like the main thing we have to do is not like nerf rewards, make sure that experience gain doesn't get lowered or anything like that. But overall, we don't necessarily need as many monsters as what we were having in the top. And I think this is actually going to also just generally improve things because it makes when monsters have more life like that, it makes more builds viable. Because like there's obviously a point where like once you can one hit everything, then there's no point in like you might as well just go for whatever the fastest thing that could do that is, right?
Yeah, the lightning speed.
Right. So effectively, by making it so that monster life's a little bit higher as you get up there, it sort of actually means that like higher damage builds become more useful.
The need for having to target so many enemies goes down.
Exactly,
and thus
right.
You aren't just now funneled into so the highest AoE thing possible.
So it means that like things that are less AoE focused and more like, I mean, obviously you're still going to want AoE, you're still going to want to be clearing like that sort of stuff, of course. Yeah. But like effectively, just by tweaking it down a bit, you just don't have the like so much need for everything to target quite so many things.
Man.
And so
Dude,
the sort of higher damage skills that are a bit less.
I'm just going to go through the patch notes
not
when
like
that gets
more than a
released
screen in
tomorrow or
size
something like that.
can actually be viable. And
I'm probably going to
that should
play
hopefully improve the situation.
I want to make sure that even if people are like, but I prefer the swarminess, and it was fun for my build. And the thing is like that. Speaking of like Atlas Tree, that's a thing where the Atlas Tree should be the thing thing that you can. It's like your build can do that. So like, I want to make sure like, for now, not doing it, but I wanted to do a thing because we're doing this whole like monster effectiveness goes up more, right? I mean, it's a pretty